All right, welcome everybody to the January 2026 Library Trustees meeting. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
By invitation of the trustees, we have Michelle Milton here today from Mount Longwell. Thank you for joining us.
Having me.
But before we get to your very special part of this meeting, we have a couple things we need to run first, so if you don't mind. First on the agenda is citizen speak, and I'm not seeing any citizens. We can move on from that agenda. The secretary's report. Any questions or thoughts on the minutes from our November 10th meeting?
No, I didn't see anything, so I'm going to move that we pass it.
Thank you, Heisen.
Second.
Thank you, Chris. All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes passed. Thank you very much. Now I have the pleasure to turn it over to Michelle.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I apologize, Kathleen, my colleague Kathleen Saganowitz, who was Glowacki and got married, was supposed to be here with me tonight. She was on our investment team, so she usually answers a lot of the more technical questions about securities and things like that. So if there's anything that I cannot answer, I'd be happy to just get back to you with any follow-up. I wanted to make sure that I was at least here to go over returns and performance and spending. And then I know there was a question about stock donation, not stock necessarily, but so we can talk about that. Okay. So this performance report is as of December 31st. And this portfolio is 70-30 risk profile, so 70% bond stocks and 30% bonds from a very high level perspective. We do have alternative asset class in there as well. It's all part of that. And this is a predominantly ESG portfolio, that mandate that we're following. And so since if you go right to page 3, because page 2 is just what they call a sand chart. So visually you can see how the account has been invested since inception. Just to remind everyone here, and I know we may have a new member here as well, that originally, this account had to be invested under Mass General Law, Chapter 4454, adhering to the Massachusetts Legal List of Investments. But once Prudent Investor was adopted, it was passed at town meeting and adopted, then we were able to transition this over to a portfolio that's prudently invested, but under that ESG mandate. Okay, so with that, on page 3, on the left-hand side, you will see since April 2013, all the contributions into the account. It tracks all the withdrawals, your income, your interest, your dividends, capital gains, management fees are broken out. It has an ending balance as of the end of December of just over $1 million, almost $1.1 million. So that represents a market value gain net of fees of over $487,000 since inception. When you annualize that number net of fees, that comes out to a number around 4.5%. So keep in mind when you are in a 70-30 risk profile, and you would expect to see returns be a little bit higher than that, but this wasn't always invested at 70-30. So the software will calculate these performance reports as if you had always been there. So the message there is over time, we would expect to see this get a little bit better, even under the ESG mandate. So the right hand side is going to track the current fiscal year so far. So those returns since July have been over 5.5%. So the graph down below shows you the gold line there is what's called the cumulative flows. So that's the cash that has been put in, taken out, and then the blue line is your market value. So you can really see how that blue line and that gold line were really pretty tightly together, which is what we would normally see in a legalist portfolio for the time period that was invested like that. But then as we were able to have a better diversified portfolio and a higher risk profile, you can see where you have that capital appreciation and growth. Okay. Fine. Okay.
We have a question down here, Michelle.
Yes.
So this, on the left-hand side, you're calculating withdrawals, interest, et cetera, since 2013, or?
Yes. Yes, that's since the inception of the portfolio.
On average, it's 4.48 over that 12
Over,
year
yes,
period.
yes, it is. Let me just, make sure we have a copy of that.
And then is the new,
I'm sorry.
is the new one we're in, does it just have a lower percent of management fees?
So when you're looking at since inception, that's since right at the beginning of the account. So the right-hand side is just tracking the current fiscal year. So July 1st through December 31st so far. Sorry, let me just I need to make sure I get the order.
I'm just asking if the old accounts had a higher management fee than the new one.
Let me take a look. Hold on one second. We've always given, the fees have always been calculated based on total relationship, which we don't do any business with the town. But once we took on the foundation money, that drove the fees down. So right now, and I think we discounted even further from that too. So they're at 45 basis points right now. So 0.45% annually. They take that amount is broken down into quarterly amounts, and it's charged the first month of each quarter, and then we net it right out of the earnings. So I believe it started out at 55 basis points, so 0.55% annually, and then it went down to 45 once we took on the foundation funds.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, and that's just so you understand, our fees are all encompassing. So that includes our services, wire transfers, ticket charges, everything. There's no fee above and beyond. So as the relationship grows, and we look at that to make sure that you're always getting the best end of the, best part of the deal. So with that, any more questions on this page before we move forward? Okay. On the next page, we're going to look at returns on page 4 of 8. We're looking at returns against benchmarks. So we don't have necessarily an ESG benchmark. So the best thing that we can compare the portfolio to is the second row down, the one that says 55, 25, 20. Mm-hmm. What that stands for is there's 55% in global equity, which is stock. You have 25% in global bonds, and then you have a 20% allocation to what's called liquid alternatives. So alternatives are an asset class that are designed to help generate returns to get you closer to your discount rate, but they're in there, as I like to say, to sort of smooth out the ride. They tend to have securities in that basket that are less correlated to the securities that are in the other two. So the idea is that if you have some asset classes that aren't doing as well, then hopefully your alternatives are doing a little bit better. And as I like to say, keep you on the kiddie poster a little bit. So they're there to smooth things out. So the reason why we want you to compare to liquid alternatives is because they can price monthly or daily, and we buy daily liquid mutual funds in these portfolios. So it's the most apples to apples comparison that we can give you. So you can look at these return numbers. Certainly they have quarter to date, year to date. 1 year numbers have been very good in the double digits. Your 3 year numbers almost 10%, 5 year numbers at 7%. But we want to keep a realistic expectation, because once we get into calendar year returns, you'll see some higher numbers. But it's important to remember that while there can be great years and great returns, there's going to be negative returns and negative years. And our goal is to capture some upside when markets are doing well, but not necessarily always outperform the benchmark in an up market, because we're really interested in when markets are down and the benchmarks are down, we want to be down less and make that climb up less steep. So that's a risk-adjusted return philosophy that we follow there. So if we go to page 5, we can see the calendar year returns. And this is the same benchmarks that we were looking at on the previous page. The library's portfolio is the first column. And then the last 3 columns, you have the MSCI equity is a equity benchmark, a global equity benchmark. You have a bond benchmark, and then the last one is an alternative benchmark. So from a calendar year basis, you can see how it's done since we took on the management of these funds. And, certainly there's been some negative years, and those were years where we were able to minimize some of the downside. As we went into the COVID years, we got through all of that. But in 22, markets were down, everything was down in 22. So our firm we manage almost 3.4 billion of municipal assets across the state of Massachusetts. And a lot of them are trust funds and stabilization. And we have a lot of OPEB money as well, which is invested prudently. So when we have gone around and we've done reviews, 22, in anything that was invested prudently in a more diversified portfolio with higher risk profiles, those were down like negative 17, 18%. And the thing about 22 is everything was down. Bonds were down. It was the worst performance of the bond market in the history of the bond market. The alts weren't doing as well as we had hoped. Equities obviously were down. There was so much going on. But by staying invested and just taking advantage of that rebound, you had in 23 and 24, you had returns that were closer to 8.5% and almost 9%. And then here we are in 25. And I know, that looks really great, but it's not always going to be that way. But it's the goal is to keep your eye on that, getting to 5.5, hopefully at some point, maybe even 6% returns as we move along. Okay. The one thing that I do want to say is that right now I did a calculation. Your annual spending has been around a 2% spending percentage. So when you're having returns of 4.5% since inception, you're able to support that spending in the returns without really dipping into principal. You're in a really, I think, comfortable spot there with your spending. Any additional spending plans beyond? I think it's normally been about 20 to 25,000 annually.
This year we have about 22 already planned out.
Okay.
It might be closer to 30 once we do the annual event too. Yeah, probably around 30.
Around 30. Okay.
Without any additional special things. Yeah.
Right. Well, we wouldn't recommend doing anything differently as far as, the way that it's invested. 70-30 is an appropriate risk profile for this to, money to go on into perpetuity.
Right.
And, like I said, the spending is low enough that it's, that calculation that we do includes an inflation buffer and leaving a little bit extra. So I think you're doing fine there. And as far as donations, would you want to have, so we have some clients that will have actually a donation account that we open up. And that way, if you have residents that want to donate to the library, you can give them all the information can go to them or their advisor to make those donations so that you're not giving them the account number information for the investment fund.
I think this is something that we want to set up. This had come up more recently when we, at our last meeting, we established the Herb Voigt Fund for the writer in residence, which we've already gotten a handful of checks. I have to give them to you, Hyacinth, but people were asking if they could make donations online, and we didn't have a method of doing that. So if we have a donation account, we can then move it from the donation account into the proper account.
Yes. And then that way you could give them, like say somebody wants to donate stock.
Sure.
We give them the instructions, we have a service team that facilitates all that and talks to their advisor, but they give them all the information on the donation account so that then once it's in there, then it can be moved over. Or are you thinking about something different than having that separate donation account?
I think that's the best way to do it for us. Yeah. We're not talking about the foundation right now, but I think that might be a good idea to set up a donation account for the foundation as well.
You bet. That's good.
Okay, so we can do that. Yeah, we can have that paperwork sent via DocuSign, and just set one up for the foundation, one up for the library, and then as we move along, if there's any additional questions, you can just let us know. If something's not working the way you want it to, we can have, talk about that too.
Great.
So even like when that person donated the bench, would that
go under this, or at least it's a-
If they wanted to wire the money versus write a check, that's what this would be able to allow for you to do.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
yeah, and that, yes. Okay.
Yes,
All
thank
right,
you.
so we'll move forward with that.
Great.
Do you have issues, because of all the news right now, where you have to vet the donors? Like if you don't want to take money from certain donors? We're having that issue with other people as this list is coming out. So maybe our list is not.
I mean, most of our most of our donors are like local residents,
Yeah.
or in this case, friends of the Voight family. So we're not soliciting donations from a broader group than that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I haven't looked into doing that yet. Yeah.
Who would we refuse money from?
Anyone on the Epstein list? I
Yeah.
feel like that
Oh,
was
Right,
my
right,
point.
I understand. Yeah, we're not at that level.
And then since we now have this ESG, like if someone donated stock from a non-ESG,
Right, like-
how do you
like-
handle that?
Right, that's a very good question, because, you know, if you had somebody that wants to say they owned Altria, which is, you know,
Yeah.
had been Philip Morris, and you don't want to accept that. That is something I would have to bounce off some other people, some of my other colleagues, and even former colleagues that have been treasurers too, just to see how you handle that. Because that's a very good point, when you have a predominantly. So one thing I will say though, is that, and we always done this when funds have had to be invested under the legal list, or still funds that are, you know, some are still invested under the legal list for some municipalities, a lot of municipalities, is that if somebody it's still proceeds though. You know, you still, just because you don't want the stock in the portfolio, you don't necessarily want the money from that stock either, right? So that might have to be an internal policy that you set inside.
We have a donation policy that's been more for like art or naming rights in the building that allows the trustees to not accept donations, and I think it could fall under that.
Okay.
Yeah, the board's own policy about it.
I don't think we have any authority as the investment advisor to refuse anything. If, you know, it's more because if this account, in order for somebody to make a donation, they would actually have to get, you know, the account number and the you know, the writing, you know, all the information to do a wire or anything like that through the treasurer, you know, through the review actually too, right? So, but that should maybe be an internal policy.
Thinking about
It
that.
is, yeah.
I mean, because people are having to give back after they count on some cash.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, we don't get many stock donations right now, but just donations, mostly it's in cash, but we can revisit the donation policy as one of the next policies that the board kind of looks at and see if we need to tweak it for that.
And I can ask around too. There are other municipal entities that, you know, have donation accounts, you know, and see if there's anything, you know, meaningful, just to help with that. Okay. Any questions? Anything else? Yes.
I just wanted to ask a couple questions.
Sure.
You mentioned earlier, what was the percentage in terms of base
The
base
fee,
points?
basis
The
points?
yeah, and the fee. What was that? It was, I think you said, what, it was 55 basis
So
points?
when that account was first opened with us, it was 55 basis points, which is 0.55%. But then when we took on managing the foundation's money, we factored that into all those dollars into the relationship. So we reduced the fee down to 45.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so that's what we do for our municipal entities. We base relationships on total dollars, all back to the first dollar, and then as a relationship grows, we make sure that the fees go down based on breakpoints. But we gave a discount in the beginning as well. So, but yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a good discount. And
Thank you. We try to, do what's best for our municipal clients and hope they stay with us.
and my second question was, does the new tax law passed last year, does that impact anything or investment activity?
No, it doesn't. So because you do not pay any taxes on being a municipal entity, so there's no impact there.
Okay, thank you.
We're lucky that way.
Yeah, good questions. Yeah,
Thank you.
Mhm.
Good.
Anything else?
Any other questions for Michelle?
Thank you.
All right, well, thanks for
Thank
having me.
you.
And if any other questions come up, just send an email. We'll get back to you, and I'll work on the paperwork with the service to get that out. And the treasurer of the signers are still the same. So
Yes.
we'll just send, yes, okay, great. All right. That's very nice to see you. Did you get your chocolates? That's the most important thing. Did you get? No.
They come downstairs.
Well,
Unless they came when I wasn't.
Oh, my goodness.
They usually tell me if something comes when I'm eating.
Well, Valentine's Day is right around the
Don't
corner. So maybe we
don't
can
worry
worry
about
about
it.
that. I mean, people wait for those.
I would know.
You have received them in the past.
Every
though,
year.
right?
Here.
Okay.
Yeah, no, don't.
We take a pile out and give the rest.
Yeah. That's it.
Don't be surprised if they just show up at your office, so. All right. Well, thank you again. Have a great night, rest of your evening.
Yeah.
Yes,
You
I'm
too.
here.
Pleasure seeing you.
It's always nice to see you all. Thank you for everything. I appreciate it. All right, take care.
Thank you.
See you later.
Take care, have a good night, yourself.
Happy New Year, Jamie. Good to see you.
Oh, thanks, you too.
Chair arrangements.
Musical chairs.
I was still talking about funds, if I may. So I had sent a question after our last meeting about people being able to make donations to the Voight Fund online, which is why Michelle talked about that. I didn't know if the trustees, once that fund, we could revisit this. Once that fund is actually established with money in it, if the trustees want to make a donation to it, which would be as simple as like transferring $1,000 from the general fund to the fund just to be part of the initial donations. I'm just putting that out as food for thought, and we could talk about it at a future meeting when it's more relevant.
But that is the biggest advantage, is being able to move things a little more
Yeah.
quickly.
Yes.
And save on paperwork, right? That's
One
the-
simple.
Yeah.
not the, it's not that we save it, right?
Right.
Because I just was reminding, I went to the foundation, you can go make an online donation right now,
Oh, right.
but then it goes into a Rockland fund. It doesn't,
Okay.
a checking account, it
Yeah.
doesn't go into.
So this would go straight in, you'd be able to avoid transferring from, yeah.
But that's also a way, if someone said, I want to make an online donation
Right.
right now, you could always
You
say,
could
go
go-
make it to the foundation and
And then we
then
could transfer.
transfer over. So if you were to lose, if you're about to lose a
Right,
donation because someone's like, I don't want to take the trouble,
right.
that's always something you could do.
so are you, when you, the library's button to donate, do you have like a drop-down screen with, these are the 10 funds you can pick from to donate?
No, we don't have a donation page for the library trustees, trust funds at all right now. The only things are for the Friends and for the foundation. What this would be is if somebody, it's basically only been for the Voight Fund. But if somebody wants to make a donation, we'd give them the option of doing an online donation, because we don't usually.
Or writing a check.
So, yeah, we don't usually solicit donations for the trust funds. It's the foundation that does the solicitation.
So this would be the only fund where you intentionally pick a fund?
Yes, but I mean, potentially, if people wanted to make a donation of any kind for any of the funds, they'd be able to use this because it'll go into a generic donation fund, which will then be transferred to the right place. In this case, right now, it's just really going to be the Voight Fund. It's kind of just a place for it to sit before we tell them to move it. Yeah.
Okay.
And they can't do it without us giving them the information to do it. So that's how we can keep from donations that we might not approve of.
Okay.
Yeah.
It might be nice to have a button there though,
Yeah.
for people to just donate to the library.
Yeah.
I mean,
Most websites have
Well, we
a
have,
donate.
we do have it, but it's to the foundation.
Yeah, so you can make a donation to the library online right now.
To
to
the foundation.
To the foundation, right? I mean, you know you're not taking the
But the
money. Yeah.
foundation is the library,
Right.
That's it.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a separate fund, but it is money at the disposal
Right.
Right,
of the
but it's
director.
different purposes, that's all, I mean.
Yeah.
Gotcha, for
Yeah.
specific purposes,
Yeah.
I got it, but
Yeah.
but the capacity is there for someone to.
Right.
And then the director can ask a request that $10,000 then get transferred over
Right.
to the void fund, which we
Right.
could execute within a week.
But like if somebody wanted to donate money just for books or something,
Mhm.
right now they.
So that does happen now.
Yeah.
So the library has a gift account that is held by the treasurer. That is a revolving fund. So this happens fairly regularly that somebody will want to donate 5 books in memory of somebody who passed away, and they'll make a donation of $200. We'll have book plates made, and we handle that by them making the donation to the Milton Public Library. We put it into the town accounts, which has a library gift revolving fund, and that's how we're able to take it in and spend it out. It doesn't touch the trust funds or the foundation or anything. It's kind of we get it and we use it, and we do that on I don't want to say a regular basis, but many times a year. So
Because it's more direct.
yeah.
It's in and out. It's
Right.
just, yeah.
That's exactly right.
It's a wash for you.
Yeah.
And speaking of the treasurer, for clarification, in addition to this million that we have in here, she's holding 500 for the kid.
Right, and she can produce, if I can get it for the next meeting, how much interest we
500.
gain.
1,000
Right.
For the sale of the.
For the sale of the kidder.
yeah.
That's right. So
And we can't hold that.
we can't hold that because of the way the deed was written, but only we can spend it. Mhm.
But for the family, we have another 500,000 with the treasurer.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll be very handy.
Yeah, and we can only use the interest on that, so. That's why we're kind of letting the interest build up for when we need it.
Does Joy ever share reports on that?
She does quarterly, or if I ask her. She's great to work with.
Are they not doing anything with the theater now that they got it, or it's still a daycare?
It's still a daycare.
Okay, and they don't have to upgrade it or anything.
They've done some work themselves on it. I think I went to an open house since they did it. But yeah, they've done some work to it. And it seemed to be thriving last time I was there.
So that 500,000's in a separate account, right?
That's right. And that was for the Kidder building sale.
Which we have no control over right now. It's sold. And
It's sold. Yeah, it's sold. That's where the 500,000 is from.
Mhm.
And we can use that money for library purposes.
Just the interest though.
Just the interest.
Of 500.
Right.
Which we get from Joanne upon our request.
That's right.
Clear as mud.
But can I get back to one thing? I have written here, 2% increase. Library annual spending usually 20 to 25,000, but this year it may be closer to 30. What was 2%? Why did
So Michelle was saying that on average, we've spent about 2% of the trust funds annually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And some years it's considerably more. So some years we've only taken some interest to buy books. Some years we've done the sidewalk and the ramp project, which has been closer to 50 or 60.
Mhm.
And then other years it's 20 to 30. So this year we're going to do at least 10,000 towards the parking consultant. I imagine 5,000 for the annual open house, and then probably 5 to 10,000 on staff attending conferences and other things. So it would probably be around her 25,000 again. There may be more, but that's.
It is on a small, like the scholarship of the high.
The scholarships come out too, right? It adds
all
up.
holiday gift.
Right, exactly. Writer in residence.
Right in residence.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Yeah. So.
Any other questions about trust accounts and trust funds? All right,
Okay.
let's move on to our next topic. It's the report of the building committee. Chris, do we have any updates?
We just had a meeting with the consultant, our task group, so it's taken a while to get the contract signed. So, met with her, and we're moving on. We did I want to ask for another request for more money. We're looking to bring a traffic consultant in to do a traffic analysis and be able to provide that at the public forum, because traffic was one of the issues that came up at the last one. And it's one amount if we just have them come and then do a written report, and another amount if we have them come to our meeting in person. So we wanted to ask if we could have the option to do one or both of those, depending on where we go and what makes sense. So if we could allocate 5,000, I think is the right number, Will.
Yeah, up to five.
I mean, we're also going to the select board or going through Megan, but we're not really very optimistic that we're gonna get anything from them, so.
We didn't the last time for the
Right.
RFP.
Right, and things aren't looking too good in the budget, so, yeah. So, I guess the motion is to authorize up to $5,000 to be spent for the, parking traffic consultant, out of the general fund.
And this is above and beyond the 10 that we already approved.
That's right.
Right,
I would say we could use the building expansion fund too, or general.
okay, yeah,
I
the
think-
building expansion. Mhm.
Is anyone still on that committee? And
I'm sorry?
Can I be on that committee?
Right now, well, you're on the building committee, but
Yeah.
this is a small task force that we put together to
different
just
one?
work with a
Okay.
consultant.
Oh, yeah.
So it's Cheryl Tagayas who's been working on parking with us all along,
Yeah.
and Will and myself. And
Oh,
then
okay.
we asked one of the select board members, so Megan volunteered.
It's not a trustee, though.
Right.
No, and Megan has joined one of the select board members.
Okay.
So it's just a small group to try to get us through this
Sure.
piece of it.
Okay. Oh, so I'm still on the building committee.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Any questions for Chris? We have a motion, so I'll be looking for a second. Bison, thank you. If there's no other questions, I'll take a vote. All in favor? Aye.
So we did set a date for the
So
open forum. I did want
it's
to
Tuesday, March
Share that.
3rd.
March 3rd.
We haven't set the time, but I'm gonna say around 6:30.
Yeah,
It will be busy.
3rd.
March 3rd. Get here very early if you can, or get dropped off. I think hopefully the forum will be full, but we also have things like mahjong on Tuesday nights, and there might be another program going on in the building, which is good because we want people to see how busy the parking lot is. But just to give you a heads up, it could be tight that night. So
Just secure the keys, room.
we got the keys room. So
So please come and bring your
March
library
3rd.
She's
friends.
3-3.
It's my birthday. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I keep telling people the second,
bring
the
cake.
second's my sister's birthday, but it's the 3rd.
2 weeks after my birthday, don't worry.
Oh, wow.
My sister's birthday.
2 weeks, wow, you have that already calculated?
Look at this.
Was it a big one?
No, they're all like-
Oh, okay.
Do we want?
So, yes, March 3rd.
Anyway.
What time?
We haven't set a time, but I think 6:30, Chris?
Yeah, we didn't really set a time yet.
Yeah.
Well, when's it the busiest? 7?
6:30.
Yeah.
6:30 will make it difficult for some people.
Okay.
I don't want to make it difficult, but I'm saying they'll see the impact of the
Right.
lack of parking around 6:30.
I
Maybe,
thought it was difficult tonight.
I know,
6:30.
we're,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, it was.
It's most,
it cleared out.
Yeah, no, there were definitely spots when I got
yeah,
here.
there are certain times. Yeah.
I think the cold sort of, maybe that.
People don't like being out of.
Yeah,
Speaking of dark, I'm thinking of the parking lot down where the police station is.
Mhm.
That'll get all lit up.
It would be, but it would be downlit, not uplit. There's
Night sky.
there's, what do you call them? Like, it's not bylaws, there's rules around like pollution now, so.
Just in terms of
Yeah,
budget.
100%. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
no, it'll be
yeah.
lit.
No steps going up the back.
I can't make
There'd
any
be a
guarantees.
pavement.
I don't know. We
We'd have to
Really
make
haven't
it.
got.
don't know.
but I'm
It will be.
sure David,
Yeah.
concerns, those will be things you can ask about at the forum.
Yes. Escalator.
moving sidewalks, yeah, escalators or a funicular maybe, yeah.
So we came in, yeah, it's here.
We haven't gotten there.
Fix our
yet,
streets.
so
Yeah.
it's a ways off, so your support would be great, and if you can bring anyone with you or people that support the library, that would be helpful, so.
And it's already in the library and the select board will come here, or
But Senator,
will the select board come here and hear it, or?
They'll be invited.
Oh, they're not required to.
No. This is just we're not reporting really. This is more of an information gathering. There'll be a small report in the beginning. Right, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we will be updating them, but we haven't.
Do we have a title for this meeting?
Not yet.
Okay.
Parking forum.
That's
For now.
That's what it is for now.
Do we have any follow-ups with the public after this meeting scheduled or planned? Or is this
We're planning, well, right now, we're thinking we might have two, so
two follow-ups after this one?
we don't, yeah.
Okay.
There'll be a survey. There'll be other ways of gathering information too.
As soon as you guys have like a little thing,
Yes.
just send it out so that
Great.
we don't, please, so if we don't miss it, we'll know what's there or anything.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Any other building updates, Will?
No.
Cleaning, lighting,
Sure.
track?
We've had the chimneys and the gas logs inspected and updated since last we met. We have new furniture. Half of it is there in the reading room on the parking lot side. This was given in memory of Eileen Piazza, who was a longtime library staff member by her family. We're waiting on a plaque. Her office was there when the library was in a different format. And once we have the plaque ready, we'll invite the family to see it. They're aware that the furniture is up and that we're moving along with that. Chris was working with them a little bit too, as times went on. Those are that's really the major building related stuff. Yeah.
Any other questions about building and grounds before we move on? Report of the finance committee, discussion on the budget.
So I have no official news since last time we met. I haven't been asked to change the budget. I haven't been invited to a warrant committee meeting, but I think that the warrant committee is taking a different approach to the budget this year and working mostly with the town administrator and working in small groups, and they may not have all the departments come, so that's not surprising. The most recent thing I can say to you is, and many of you probably already know, the town appears to be in a budget deficit, about $2.4 million right now, based on the budgets that were turned in. And the school turned in a budget that was a 5.2% increase. The town government side turned in a budget that was about 3.6% increase. Based on revenues and the increased cost of health insurance, the available funds is closer to a total of 2.3% increase. So if we work those numbers out, that would be about a $2 million reduction to the school budget and about a $400,000 reduction to the town government side. I don't know if that is how it will shake out. I have not been asked to reduce anything in the library budget. However, I'm expecting all town government, general government's departments to take some kind of a minor reduction if this is the way we're going. There's been no indication that it would be it would be a minimal reduction, and it should not impact library services or state aid requirements based on in conversations so far. One of the biggest things, again, is the health insurance costs are going up double digits for the second year in a row, and that's really impacting the overall budget. Otherwise, I've not heard anything more official. I know that the town administrator is working with a budget group and with the school committee and the select board to try to get to some kind of understanding of which way to move forward. So,
Have you met with the warrant committee?
I've not. I met with Lee Michael McLean, who many people might remember was
He was on the warrant committee when I was on.
Yeah, he was on the warrant committee. He's back this year. He is our liaison. So I did meet with him could have been November, but it's probably in December. We had a good conversation. He's very familiar with the library. And he presented like a preliminary library budget to the warrant committee after meeting with me. So he got back to me with maybe one or two questions that I answered at the time.
But no request for departments to go in it.
Not yet.
Okay.
And there may not be, that I think they're trying to move away from that to some extent, only as necessary. So, as some of you might remember, I don't know, probably 10 years ago, I don't remember, the warrant, some of you have been on the warrant committee meetings that went till 11 or 12 at night.
Mhm.
And so you could be a department head. Often would go after the fire department and they'd say, oh, get there around 8. I'm like, great. And the fire department would go until like 10:15.
Yep.
And by then,
Yeah.
like, you're presenting the library budget, everyone at the table's tired, and you can barely remember your name because it's 11 o'clock at night. But so I think they're changing that model up a little bit.
Kind of like it.
Yeah. So that's all I have on the budget. I don't know if John has anything on capital.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Anything in capital?
I think we got the presentation from Consolid
Okay.
Facilities and DPW. We have a meeting this Thursday. We're supposed to have a meeting last Thursday, but Amy Dexter didn't post in time, so.
Okay. Mhm.
I just checked that it's posted for Thursday, so.
Just
We have some items that Tom McCarthy
Okay.
presented as part of Consolidated Facilities.
Good.
But as you know, everything's constrained as usual, so.
Yeah, I'm talking to the town administrator. He said that budget is doing better than like the operational budget. Like there are a few things that should be able to be funded. So I worked with Tom on some clarifications for library. I don't know what will be passed or not, but
Thank you, John. I'd love to do a discussion on the budget or capital. All right, moving on to the report of the strategic planning committee. I think we're going to be discussing the process of starting the next 5-year plan.
so there isn't a strategic planning committee, so that's going to be the first thing. So in the packet, I put together a draft timeline and a draft idea for a steering committee. The timeline as we are now, I think we're here in January. We want to set up a committee. I think 2 trustees should be on the steering committee to report back to the board, and then another 7-ish members. Between now and March, we'd want to invite community members. So let me take a pause. In January, I think we'd form a steering committee. My suggestion is 2 trustees, 2 staff members whose names I've suggested on the list, a member from the Friends, a member from the Foundation, and 3 community members. This is fairly similar to other steering committees we've had. So I think between now and February, maybe we should try to brainstorm ideas of who good community members would be to be on the steering committee. In the past, we tried to get somebody who might have been in the IT field, so we can talk about technology. And other times, we've gotten people in there, like the education field, so they can kind of talk about how we can work with the schools. So there's different angles we can take to that. So I think February and March would be looking at those names. March would be appointing the official committee with actual names. April and May, we would meet to introduce ourselves. June through August, we do some data gathering, which would, basically statistics, which most of it we have. We do focus groups in the fall because the summer is a bad time. We could determine what kind of focus groups and who should lead them and what they should look like. As Susan knows, my good friend in Sandwich just presented a strategic plan and she had a really successful model for doing it. So I've been talking to her about how she worked on our focus groups. And then November, December, we'd review the results of the focus groups, moving us into the next year. We're talking like a year and a half out here, people. We draft the initial plan in the winter next year. We would share it with the steering committee to see what they think, share it with the board to see what they think. Next March's meeting would be focused kind of on discussing the plan, so that it could be approved by the May meeting and turned into the state by June of 2027. I haven't even gotten used to writing 2026 yet, but that's my it's a long process, but it's a thorough process and a thoughtful process. It will have lulls. We're not asking a ton from the steering committee because we don't want to burden people, but we want to be able to get ideas and have conversations, share information at different times throughout the year for that. So,
But the current focus is
who's going to be on
the steering committee?
Who is going to be on that steering committee? So again, we can reach out to the friends and see if they'd like to nominate a person to be on it. I have ideas who I would like it to be. Foundation is a very large group, so that's that's a tricky one. And then community members.
Okay.
So if people have ideas of community members, they can, if you want to share them with me, I can then share them with the group. We can't have a conversation about it. Because of open meeting law, maybe we'd have to have like a quick Zoom meeting that we can post if we want to talk about it. Or I can come to the March meeting with 6 to 8 names and we could have a bigger conversation then.
But you're suggesting makeup of the committee is the same as it was the last time.
It is similar. It's very similar.
Well, I have a question. Do staff members have community members that they have in mind too?
They do.
Yeah.
So I'll share some names from that as well.
Mhm.
Yeah. I asked CERC staff and the reference staff in the children's room, and they all have different ideas.
Okay.
And we're trying to get people who either, they might not even be people who use the library. We are looking forward to. Staff have people who use the library pretty regularly, and that's good too. But I think also trying to get people who might not use us or use us in ways that were not, maybe non-traditional ways to use the library.
Are we gonna make an ask to the MBLC for grant money or
So
at the end of that?
at the end of this, it allows us to be eligible for grants. That's one of the reasons, it's one of the minor but financial reasons that we do the strategic planning. We've used it more in the past to try to justify requests for staffing, because it's built into that, to also highlight what statistics and usage we're tracking, whether we're going to focus on children's programming or different kind of technology growth or something. It makes a stronger argument when you go to the warrant committee, the select board, or town meeting saying, we're not just asking for this. We've been planning 2 years and this has been in the plan. We told you, we've seen it, for those reasons. But it would also be for MBLC and federal grants. Yeah.
Any trustees eager to be on the steering committee?
Yeah, I will also volunteer myself right out the bat as the member of the foundation. But seriously, for 3 reasons. One, because I'm a member of the foundation.
Yes,
but
thank you very much.
I was also on previous strategic planning, and as a member of the HR committee, I worked with our director to tie in the metrics to have his evaluation be tied into the strategic plan. So I'm really familiar with all that, and so can help make it as we go. Right? In other words, it wouldn't be something we'd have to then figure out afterwards. We would do it while we build it while we move forward. Having the institutional knowledge, so I'm happy to volunteer myself, and I'm perfectly happy not to be on it. Nothing personal.
And I think I saw Jamie raise her hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I do strategic planning right now at the hospital, so I like doing it. I think it's fun, interesting to think about. So
Great. Thank you.
Thank you both.
And getting back to the community members, if we get like 12 people, they could be a focus group if they're not all on the steering committee.
Right.
I'd also just like to add, I think this is a prudent calendar, a realistic calendar, and also a smart calendar in that you have lots of access points. So you have definitely done your due diligence where no one can ever say that we didn't make it public, we didn't have opportunity for access. If I were not available on one date, I didn't have a second opportunity. And that's you have your bases covered for anyone who says, I didn't know that there was a strategic planning committee going on, when all the bases were covered in terms of communications, in terms of proactive ahead of time planning, and then lots of public opportunities for access, including the surveys.
Right.
So,
Thanks, Paul.
Excellent. Any other questions or discussion on the process of the strategic planning?
One question about the grants. You get federal grants for this, and what was the other grant?
So MBLC, the Mass Board of Library Commissioners, they handle their own grants, but we also are able to get federal grants through them as an agency.
Okay.
Right now we can't because somebody defunded most of those grants, but they will be back by the time, I'm optimistic, by the time the strategic plan is in place. So.
Thanks.
And are some of those grants tied to like surveys and
Yeah.
pieces, right? Okay.
We don't do them every year, but we do them pretty
But even
regularly.
if you do some of the surveys,
Yeah.
then for the strategic planning, you can, that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, one of the last times, I don't know if it was the last time or the time before that, we were fortunate. We were doing our planning right around when the master plan was doing its planning. So they were getting great community data that we were able to use as part of that. The health department just did a good community health survey that will help. We'll be able to use some of the information from that towards our surveys too.
Good. Make a motion to accept the calendar as written.
So
All in favor? Aye.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. All right, report of equity committee. Have you met Jamie or
We need to set up a meeting.
Yeah.
to be
Do we have
determined?
stuff?
What?
Do we have stuff?
No, but we need to bring the band back together. So.
Okay.
The band back together.
That sounds fun.
I know.
We're a great band.
And start planning for the fall.
I look forward to future discussion and future meetings.
I can do that.
Send me sometimes at work for you.
Okay.
And then we can go based on you and I'll see what's up with the friends. Sarah and I are fairly flexible.
Okay. And Sean is added on.
Yeah, I think I was added
Okay.
on as well.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I included everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can give people a couple choices or something.
Very good. All right.
That's our update. So.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Excellent update. Library director's report.
I'm just going to pass this up. This is also social media. This was being in the library is so confusing at times. We do so much on the fiscal year, but we also want to talk about the calendar year. So Regan Mulcahy put this together. This is kind of the year in review, some of the numbers, again, different than like our state reports and different than the fiscal year reports. But when at the end of the year, we're able to post some of these numbers on social media just to get them out there and to let people see things that we've done and highlighting, the Library of Things was used so many times, over almost 900 programs, 20,000 people came to the programs. Study room use is close to 5,000, and we added those 2 pods, which I think we might add 2 more, just those because you see the number. Study rooms.
They've never been empty every time I walk past it.
Yep, study rooms 5,000. We add those, we get.
Never been empty since I passed away.
Yeah, no, they're great. So this is just just a visual. Sometimes it's nice to have a visual of some of the things that's going on at the library. So I wanted to share that with you. Let's see. Talked about the building issues, which was the chimney and the fireplaces, the large print furniture. I mentioned working with Tom McCarthy on the capital requests. I also talked to the town administrator about some of those. We're continuing to work on ebook legislation. Since last we met, I've had a couple of different meetings with different members of the House. Because everything, the ebook legislation and the freedom to read books on anti-censorship bills have been passed in the Senate side of Beacon Hill. We're now working on the House side. The House side has appeared a little bit more nervous and trepidatious about pushback on the freedom to read bill. It's one of those things. I was talking to a group at Fuller Village this afternoon about it. It's the kind of thing you talk to any legislator and they're like, this is great, yeah. But no one will be the one pushes it to the vote. So we're working on that. We had a meeting on Friday with Representative Moran from Boston, who sponsored the bill because he's pulling his hair out as to why he can't get Ways and Means to push the bill. So we're moving, but we're moving slowly with that.
What was the rationale for the Freedom to Read Act? It has language that's.
So they're getting pushed back. So as we all know, the House, Beacon Hill is like 95% blue and 5% red. We passed it in the Senate side with, there were maybe 17 amendments proposed from Republicans that were all voted down because numbers. Those were more about giving, it was like parents' rights. It's Moms for Liberty type of pushback that they're seeing. They don't want it to become like anti-family, anti-parents. And it's not, it's pro-parents in that like parents should be able to tell a kid what they're reading, but they shouldn't tell the library what books they're having.
Mhm.
It's a slow education process with a few people in the House, like the sponsors of the bill, and we have 50 co-sponsors on the House side of the bill. All get it. They all get the message. It's the Ways and Means people who it's newer to.
So it's just not about the cost specifically, but the whole.
They get the cause. They get it, but they're worried about. And to be perfectly honest, they're worried about their colleagues who are in purple districts and this becoming a fight in a purple district that could get them, cost them an election. So everything's political, but we're doing the best we can on that. It is what it is. It's interesting. And state aid and the MBLC budget, we don't really have an update. We're waiting for the governor's budget, which should come out any day. The Mass Board of Library Commissioners asked for a 5% increase to state aid. This year we got about $70,000 from that. Put that in perspective, I think that 5 years ago was only around 50. 8 years ago was around 35,000. So we've been able to grow partially because of the use of our library, because there's metrics for it, partially because we've been able to get legislators to continue to increase state aid to public libraries. So those are kind of the state house things. The biggest thing that's going to be facing our library and all the libraries in our network over the next 6 months is that we are starting to begin our transition from the library catalog you've been used to seeing for 20 years to a new system. It's Evergreen and Aspen Discovery. The names don't really mean anything, but we're beginning that transition. Training starts this week for staff. We're going to go live with a new system at the end of April. So it's actually 4 months. Scheduling training for all of the staff on all the different pieces. There's going to be a scheduling challenge that Sarah Trove will handle without any problems at all. But just thinking about it has been troublesome for a lot of library directors, because everybody on the staff needs to know how to use a catalog. Everybody on the staff needs to know how to check out a book. And there's a fair amount of training because this is something brand new, and it's how do you because we're open. When we're open, and there's not a lot of time when they can do it off desk when we're closed. So that's going to be something over the next 2 to 3 months. There's going to be there's a lot of training in January. There'll be some more in February. There's live training, and there's also live Zoom training, and then also recorded trainings for every aspect, from checking out a book to creating a patron record to creating a book record. How card catalog is going to look online. It's super exciting, but this is like the hard part now. So that's what the staff will be facing. I should also commend all of the library programming, but we've had a lot of changes in adult programming over the last couple of months as we've changed our adult services staff. So we've had some different kinds of programs, trying different things. Tonight we're trying a Stranger Things related one for everybody who was obsessed with Stranger Things over the last several months. Chris and I were looking for dates to do these open houses. And when we looked, there were 2 open nights in January, 3 open nights in February, and we found 1 in the first half of March. So the library is doing a lot of programming, or some of the rooms are being used for other purposes from outside groups. But we're getting like back to like that pre-COVID capacity for room usage. It's wonderful. Unless you want to try to pick an easy date to do a program for parking, but and a lot's been going into that. It's good to see people who've now been in their position since late summer or early fall. People who've moved to new positions within the library kind of hit the ground running, and they're excited about making changes and doing new things. So it's been a great couple months. So. That is my report. Aside, the statistics speak for themselves.
Does the 343 include the online stuff, or that's the hard copies of books?
The 343 is total.
Total.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions for Will? Excellent report.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to library partnerships. Any update from the foundation, Paul?
No updates. We just got a report from Bartholomew, all as well.
Excellent.
It's along the lines of the reports the trustees got. So all is well. Taxes are paid. Our accountant is paid. Bills are up to date, and the checkbook is balanced.
Oh, how much money do you have?
How much cash do we have, or how much investments do we
How
have?
much investment?
Investments we have over $2 million, and it's grown $400,000 in the last 18 months.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
Just from it growth.
Just from growth.
Donations.
Yeah, the donations are a small percentage of that.
Is that invested the same way our funds are?
Yes.
Yeah,
73rd.
Yes, right about yes, 65.
great.
Speaking of the foundation, it's a little ways off now, but save the date, Wednesday, April 15th. Colm Tobin will be at the high school for the speaker series. He's the author most recently of Long Island, but more famously of Brooklyn, which was made into a movie with Saoirse Ronan. He's an West Coast Irish writer. He writes fiction and nonfiction.
How do you spell the last name again?
Stay, John.
T-O-I-N. I know. Right. And then
B-O-N?
Toibin. And then Mac Barnett is going to be Saturday, March 28th. He is a children's young adult author who has a pretty big following. And the children's department picked him, and we're very excited about it, about Mac Barnett. He was either something with the Library of Congress or ALA, and that he was got a major award in the last year. So we were lucky to be able to get him and fit him in. So he'll be at the end of March.
Did you say Max or Mark?
Mac,
Mac.
I think it's
Okay.
MAC, but I could be wrong. My children's young adult knowledge is less than.
And what date is that? Oh,
Sorry, that
March 28th.
Saturday the 28th. Sure. So those are a couple of foundation sponsored events that are coming up.
Any update from the Friendsville that we know, or?
No, I mean, the Friends had a holiday sale in December, and they used the reading rooms for the fireplaces downstairs, and they said it was very successful. It was pretty well attended. They were really happy with it. They did an event. I don't remember when it was. People were there November at Steel and Rye, and you would have thought like you were going to some kind of fancy club and you had special car. Like it was packed. It was packed.
It was great.
it's great.
Yeah, and I was like, you got to do this again, and they're like, I'm so tired. So we won't do that. But it was
great.
Wonderful that so many people came out to support the library that night, and I think they'd be excited to do it again. So.
Well, if they ask who dropped off the paper bags, I left a box of paper bags down there by their door.
Oh, great. Okay. Never enough. So, the bookshop's doing well.
Yeah, just a reminder that appeal letter went out in December,
Mm.
and ours will go out right after the foundation speaker in April.
Great.
The Friends made 22,000 this past year.
Wow.
Yeah. But they also put close to 30,000 towards programming. So
Yeah.
they,
Mhm.
yeah, that's great.
That's awesome. All right.
Wait, are you saying that 22 is after they gave 30?
No.
No.
Okay.
They also have money in reserve.
Mhm.
And they get other donations sometimes.
All right, in your package, the last page, in the past, we've talked about reimbursing our director certain fees, and he submitted a request for travel expenses, conference expenses, and Wi-Fi and technology for a total of $3,920.
This is for all of 20. I didn't put in a reimbursement request in 2025, and I was reminded by the personnel to
Yes.
do so at our last meeting, so I've prepared that.
So that's what this is.
Right, and the travel is mostly, a lot of it's State House. Otherwise, it's going to the Mass Library System headquarters and other OCL libraries, and that's what a lot of it is. Part of the conferences, there's library conferences, but I'm also looking into taking a couple of courses from the Office of the Inspector General on procurement, just so that kind of cut out the middleman a little bit and be a little bit more aware of procurement law. So those are a few of the things that are included in that.
So I'll make a motion that we reimburse those amounts requested.
Thank you, Sean.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Sean.
Out of the general fund or?
Yeah,
Usually comes out of the general fund.
fund. Thank you. Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Looks great.
No
Add that
pressure.
to his
The
evaluation.
personnel committee happy.
Correct. HR committee is so happy.
Yeah.
All right, under other, I have something for under other, Paul, the annual survey, are we working on that?
As we speak, literally, and I'm going to invite those who have significant tasks ahead of them regarding parking, what questions they would like to include regarding parking. If they would like to do a separate survey, but I was just suggesting that a great opportunity is we usually have over 500, at least. One year we had 1,000, but we always have hundreds of people complete the annual survey. And I think it'd be a great place to have 2 or 3 parking questions.
So I don't have the questions, I don't have the answer to your question, we don't have the questions,
If
but
you
the
say,
consultant will. So that's one of her first priorities.
well, I can share the survey with you,
Okay,
and then you can either put them right in, or the consultant can send me the email of the question, and then I can
Okay.
incorporate it in that.
we probably won't have them for another, what you say, week.
Yeah, I mean, she said she would work on them this week,
Okay,
so we can nudge her.
yeah,
But also the library survey can just have 2 more sort of general parking questions,
Right.
and then the consultant questions might be the more specific ones for,
okay,
There might be a separate consultant. one.
right, more
Yeah.
detailed. So
Yeah.
I could have curious, how often do you find parking? How often do you not find parking? Would you like if there were more parking?
Yes.
Get a
Right.
a dipstick about that general stuff. So I'll do a draft of those questions and share it with you.
Okay.
And because we do also want to get it out this month.
okay, yeah.
And to Paul's point, and Chris's too, like, we want to get a couple broad questions in this, and we've talked to the consultant already about different ways of having not long surveys, but even short but longer parking related surveys, whether we advertise it through social media or we have go around to tutors, or we ask people at children's programs, like we have QR codes, just try to get some other responses from people to another survey to get more information.
Excellent. Is there any other business that people would like to bring up?
Just the other part of that is that we also send the survey to the staff as part of our director's mid-year evaluation.
Yeah. Great point.
And we have a fair number of new staff this year, so it'll come with some explanation.
Well, I must say on the building and grounds, the grounds looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's really good.
they're always really well maintained.
Yeah.
Okay. Future meetings, February is the month for committee meetings. Our next meeting is March 9th. April's committees.
That'll be a 7 o'clock meeting.
That will be a 7
Back to
o'clock,
7,
back to 7, yes. The March meeting will be building, nominating, personnel strategic plan. will mention donations policy earlier. I'm working on updating the bylaws, so hopefully I'll have something to present at that meeting.
We pencil in a HR meeting with our director,
Yep.
beforehand at 6 o'clock or,
Yes.
at the director's, convenience
Yeah.
to have our mid-year.
Yes, as long as the director reminds me.
Yeah, well.
Is the May 11th meeting, is that the one before town meeting, or is that just a regularly?
That's the regular.
That would be the
scheduled one.
regular one. I think town meeting is gonna be the 4th.
Yeah.
So we might have a brief meeting on the 4th.
Okay.
The
then-
one's not a long meeting,
Right.
more of a reorganization.
And we may cancel the 11th because town meeting will take up all of everybody's time, but I like to just have it
Yeah,
saved.
no, I remember that. I think, yeah, we had the meeting in before town meeting.
Yes.
Then I think you had it in June, if I'm not mistaken.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, Sean.
All right, with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Hyson. I'll take a second.
Second.
I'm ready to
All in
go.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.